När litteraturen reagerar mot flyktingpolitiken. Nu ska vi gå in i ett seminarium som arrangeras av förlaget Ramos. Vi kommer att få lyssna till författaren Marek Sindelka som har skrivit romanen Materialtrötthet. Det här är en bok om två bröders flykt från Mellanöstern genom Europa. Om kroppens fysiska reaktioner och utmattning till följd av flykten. Och romanen har kallats för Tjeckiens första flyktingroman och kom att orsaka en påtaglig debatt. Modererar det här samtalet gör kritiker Hynek Pallas. Varmt välkomna.
Thank you very much. Tack så mycket. Tack. A warm welcome to everyone who's watching and a warm welcome to Marek Sindelka who's with us from Prague.
Hello, thank you.
Hello, Marek. I can't see you, but oh, there you are. Welcome. Welcome to Stockholm and to
Hello again.
A virtual Gothenburg. I hope everything is fine in Prague, and I want to congratulate you on a great book and a superb translation. It was a joy to read someone who has, Marie Wenger, she has really captured the very physical quality of the book. The novel concerns two young refugees, brothers, who escaped to Europe, and then in Europe we follow them on their route through Europe. Can you tell us a bit about the starting point, why you decided to write about this specific subject?
Well, I think it originates in the situation in Czech Republic during 2015 and later on when the so-called migrant crisis reached us. But in the Czech Republic, the situation was pretty special because we didn't have any refugees and we haven't received any, like officially Czech Republic accepted like 12 people back then, and still the situation was like crazy. People went crazy about like they had this idea that an invasion is on our doorstep or whatever, and it was very like it was misused or abused by politicians immediately. This fear mongering occurred almost from the very beginning of the refugee or so-called refugee crisis. I don't like the term because in our country there wasn't anything. And my reaction was, even though we were dealing with ghosts, with just some avatars on Facebook, and mostly with ourselves, still we were willing to hate those people on a large scale. Like there were voices heard of people that our representatives that we should build camps for millions of people in north of Africa and so on and so on, and it was terrible. So I initially I was shocked and I wanted to react somehow. I wanted to present real people, that there were people going through all those terrible things on the outskirts of Europe, and we in the luxury, or more or less luxury center of Europe, we were pale by fear of those things, but which were virtual, which weren't there back then. So that was the starting point, I'd say.
And when the book was published, this is 2016, right? It's published in this pretty vile climate. I remember it very well myself. The debate was very strong. And how was your book received in this climate?
Well, Well, in the first place, I didn't want to write a political statement. That wasn't my aim. I wanted to do what literature actually can do, and do as it is, to force you to feel for somebody else. My aim was to drag you and put you in somebody else's skin, almost to be there, to feel for a moment for those people, and it's the whole book is in a way composed almost as a computer game in a way. That was one of my ideas. The main character is defined just by two things, and one of them is that he's an athlete, and the second one that he loves to play computer games, and they do it, or it reveals in the very end of the book. But still, my aim was to create some environment where you ideally could somehow feel what those people feel. And of course, I studied a lot. I made a thorough research. I met people from Syria and so on and so on. But still, I wanted I didn't want it to be a political book, but rather something which would activate your emotion or feelings and so on, more like a poetry maybe.
And you're right. It reads almost like a survival game at times, a computer game, as you say, and it's a very bare bone book. It's really about something universal, about being hungry, being tired, being cold.
Yeah.
But and this humanizes refugees, and in the debate that I followed, it was almost as if you're not allowed to make refugees human, as if they were misreading your book, putting your book in the political context.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I didn't answer your question.
No, it's okay.
After the book came out, the debate was there were very harsh comments from many people. The book received some support, but also from, for example, it was very let's say passionate, and from, for example, from leftists in the Czech Republic, I received very bad reviews because of they read the book as a appropriation, that there is wide debate about this thing, but I don't agree with this. I don't. From my perspective, the whole literature is about this: that you try to feel for other people. If I wrote a book about a bank clerk, it would be the same. That's for me even more distant universe, like this thing, than to write about a teenager from a different country. I met those people, and I didn't feel like a gap between us that big. It was just people of my so for me, that's the main. That's in the core of literature, to speak for especially oppressed people and so on and open those views and perspectives, and that's it, I think.
Correct me if I'm overanalyzing things, but when I read the book, I had a distinct feeling that you're subtly referencing times when Czechs were refugees themselves. You have the description, the very, very detailed description of escaping in a car, which was common when you escaping from the communist countries. You have how humans are turned into numbers. These are things that have been and are very associated with Czech history. Is this something that or did you think about this?
Absolutely, yeah. That was, of course, one of my I wasn't an inventor of this idea. That's in the debate that took place in Czech Republic in 2015 and let's say 2016. This thing was mentioned like hundreds, thousands of times because we used to be refugees. We during communist era, before the fall of the Iron Curtain. We used to be refugees, and we came through the same things, or our best people, to be precise, came through this because they were pushed away. They were forced to leave the country and were held in all those refugees camps. And of course, they were European, but still, many of them came through the same experience, like being judged as those Eastern, like Gastarbeiters, almost something like that. So it's in our culture, but still, we are somehow unable, and that's very like disappointing that we are unable to grant this to other human beings like this. We should be, in the first place, we should with this experience we should be in the first like in the front line with I don't know, helping these people, because for me it was shocking how close still the Czech Republic is, but not only the Czech Republic, the whole Visegrad region, Poland, Hungary, of course. It's and I felt like ashamed and that you know, my daughter was born in the beginning when it all started. Like, she was growing up with the refugee crisis, like as a baby, and I felt that how it's possible that she had granted all the luxury in the world, like one of the strongest passports in the world, and so on and so on, and how it come that other people were suffocating somewhere on the Austrian highway. That was for me like emotional distress, let's say.
Do you think that there's a question of who has the right to be a victim? That there's still a culture of victimization in Central Europe that goes into this, that makes it hard to accept that other people can be victims of something?
I don't know exactly if I understand the question. Could you? The
idea of being, as Czechs have been oppressed in history during dictatorship.
Yeah.
We see this in a contemporary debate in the Czech Republic now, in the history debate that we're not going to go into here about communism, but we also have it in Second World War. There's a strong culture of having been the victim and not. This is for the whole of Central Europe. That there are no gray zones between oppressor and victim, and maybe I think that maybe this culture of victimization makes it hard to accept other people as victims.
Absolutely, yeah. That's I've been thinking about this thing for a very long time. Like we see ourselves as being somehow misused by the history itself. Like we see ourselves as victims. Usually, Czech people, it's very deep rooted in our culture. Like the Second World War, then you know, we were betrayed by our allies, by French and British leaders back then, and were like given as a gift to Hitler and so on and so on. But it's unhealthy. This thinking is very unhealthy, because it's a strange complex in the core of the culture, and then it goes on to communist regime, where people were somehow crippled by the situation. Like there it was gloomy, like timeless period of our history, and people like more and more felt that they are somehow victimized, that they are like unable to move or act against this, and so on. And after the fall of the Iron Curtain, again we somehow all the time we feel that we are not, I don't know, good enough for the world or whatever. We don't speak languages much, especially older generations. We are like hobbits, you know, like a strange like the nation of which that's it. And when we are dealing with something like when we deal with something like refugee crisis in 2015, we usually there is this tendency towards stay back, like get I don't know, to close ourselves, to close the borders, but still it's a trap. It's a punishment, like to close someone or enclose someone. For example, we put person or criminals to prison. We close them somehow, and it's unhealthy. But we are willing to do this just to feel more comfortable. But it's only fear, I would say.
I would like to just. It's funny, we're talking about this nation of hobbits. It also assembles cars. And there's a scene toward the end of the book where it makes me surprised to hear about the leftist critique, because I think you fuse the worker. There's this scene in an assembly hall in manufacturing cars, which is very common in Central Europe. I myself worked as a guide in Bada Boleslav in the Skoda factory, so I know the scenes of how you see the worker putting together the car. And I think that you fuse the human being and these assembly lines very beautifully. It's a sorry.
Absolutely. For me, the assembly line is one of the big or the most important metaphors in the book. It's let's say a metaphor of Europe as a whole, because actually the assembly line was of course invented by Ford in America, and he designed it especially for refugees. His idea was that the cheap laborers could handle to work when he connected them to the machine somehow. When this cyborg or whatever this machine man unity would work together, and that was the reason I wanted this in the book, because we are now like all those factories are, as you said, are situated or set in our regions, and we are used as a working labor, like a cheap working workers in those factories, but. It's like a cycle for me. It's like something lifelike, like a machine producing a machine, and then a human body, which is when seen through perspective through this all refugee bureaucratic system, like all those evidence and those statistics and I don't know what. Is again like a machine or something which is so there is a cycle of those things.
Marek, in the book. Sorry, we only have 2 more minutes.
Okay.
So I just want to wrap up with what you're describing has deep roots in Czech literature with Karel Čapek's Robot Universal Robot, of course, but it's also very cinematic. And I happen to know that you're a script writer as well, a trained script writer. So my last question is, what directors have inspired the very cinematic quality of the robot human in this book?
Well, I would say Dziga Vertov, definitely, and his manifestos. He was a Soviet cameraman and camera operator. And he wrote those wonderful essays of camera as an eye in the matter, and this idea was somehow from him, like a machine observing a machine, and this cycle. So this was influential. His movies, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Děkuji moc, and enjoy your day. And I hope to see you for a beer in Prague soon enough. I hope this pandemic will go away. And thank you very much, Marek, and thank you everyone for hearing this talk about Materialtrötthet, Unava Materialo, and thank you very much to all the organizers and you who've been watching.